From RFN Studios, this is Radio Free Norfolk. Just when we think our local politicians cannot get more goofy, they go and they prove us wrong. Mayor Crystal Chop and Mayor Ken Hewitt rush on down to Governor Simcoe Square to get a haircut in protest of the government not allowing us to move to the next phase of the economic recovery. And when that happens, hilarity ensues.
Malablanc, I'm live on location in front of Town Hall, where there is a protest that is about to begin. Mayor Crystal Chop has called a bunch of area hairdressers, and from what we have heard, there's going to be a haircut happening right now. Everyone's just getting ready for it right now.
And then in proper political theatrics, the two mayors sat down and had their haircuts. After that, some reporters asked a simple question. If you want to go to phase 2, part of that is including opening up the beaches and allowing tourism. And this was Mayor Chop's response.
We have been concerned. I think all the mayors in cottage country areas are concerned with the influx of tourists. That concern remains. Right now, still a number of our stores are, curbside pickup only and so on. But if you've been down into Turkey Point and, Port Dover and Port Rowan, I mean, you are seeing a huge influx of people right now.
Now, at one point, Mayor Chop sits down to have her picture taken. And in the irony of ironies, coming up the street is this.
So I'm here to peacefully march. I'm here to march peacefully. I'm marching. Yeah. And we got people doing a news report for getting haircuts.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're just about to have a protest of a protest.
What are you taking a picture of? Why are you taking her picture? Oh my God, dude. Knock it off. I'm asking a question. What's your intention? What are your intentions? My intention is justice. That's my intention.
How old are you, son?
Does it matter how old I am?
It matters a lot.
Why does it matter? What are you saying? I have 100,000 people coming here Thursday.
Okay, that's great. I don't know why you're going to wait till Thursday here.
No, it's called a peaceful march. So what was your intention of the photo?
Just in case you don't know it, Canada's world famous for the Underground Railway. You ever heard of it?
And then, a few hours later, Doug Ford responds to the entire situation.
Now let's go to Alderman Norfolk. I understand this is fluid. This thing is moving constantly, and I understand, one time you may say something and it may change. It wasn't longer than 2 to 3 weeks ago that we had the two mayors from there, I remember on TV shouting and screaming, saying they're going to fine any cottager that comes up. We didn't have the capacity, they were saying. We had one ventilator, we have a small hospital, we don't want anyone up there. And all of a sudden, bingo, they're out there getting a haircut saying they want everyone to come up. I get it, things change. I get it, but you can't have it both ways. And they had a massive spike. When they have a massive spike in the area, we have to do the responsible thing. People that live in that area are incredible. They're salt of the earth. I've been up there numerous times. I've talked to them. They're incredible people. But, you can't be telling everyone to stay away and we're going to fine you if you go to the cottage that you pay taxes for, and the most outspoken in the entire province, and a couple of weeks later sitting there getting a haircut and going against the protocol. So, give me a break.
The backlash locally was very quick, and by the time that we got to the council meeting, the walkbacks were well underway.
I will certainly apologize if I've offended somebody. The last thing I wanted was for this morning to present itself as anything other than advocacy for our small business owners. I was motivated to use my platform to provide representation for our struggling and desperate business owners that are fighting for survival. It wasn't about hair, it was about something much bigger than that. I am deeply concerned of a second wave, but penalizing Norfolk County residents and business owners when we have no support in controlling the large influx of thousands of tourists on the weekends when our neighboring municipalities are open is just not something that I can continue to support. In this context, I don't believe that this is any longer a public health matter, but it's simply become a political issue.
Now, in fairness to Mayor Chop's sentiments here, I disagree. I don't think that this became a political issue. I think it's always been one. As you look around at the preparedness that jurisdictions had for the onset of this pandemic, some would say that no one saw it coming. Well, I don't know if we will ever know if that's true or not. But what I think we do know is that jurisdiction after jurisdiction was clearly not prepared for it. So once you find yourself in the quagmire of trying to balance public safety and personal freedoms and the economy, you begin to have to make hard decisions. One of the hard decisions that was made here in Haldeman, Norfolk, is that we declared a state of emergency. And there are those that were surprised by that. In an interview we did earlier in the week with Toby Barrett, he spoke to this issue.
That was a surprise when that happened. And we got calls from Toronto. We got calls from Queen's Park. It's understandable for a city like Toronto to perhaps declare and to set up some add-on measures beyond what Premier Ford has been calling for and what the Chief Medical Officer of Health has been calling for. But people found that very unusual when Haldeman Norfolk, through the health unit, declared a state of emergency. And we got some fairly, they were polite calls. They would ask me, well, what's going on down here? They say, we don't know how to put this. Like, you're a little bit of a backwater down here. Why would you declare a state of emergency? So people were puzzled. People knew this was going to cause problems when you have different sets of rules, when you end up with a patchwork of rules across the province.
And this loops us back around to the beginning, the haircuts. With 30 plus different health units, with federal support programs in play, with provincial guidelines in play, with a federal program for migrant workers, with a local spike in the infection rate at a local farm. Where does that leave us in Haldeman, Norfolk, in the ability to open the economy back up? How do we map our way forward? One thing is abundantly clear: small businesses cannot withstand this economic hardship forever. At some point, something needs to give. The residents of Haldeman, Norfolk need to be able to understand what it's going to take to start the road to recovery.